When people think about fine art, what often comes to mind first is painting. Whether surreal, like the work of Salvador Dali, speckled with impressionist color, like Manet, or detailed and impossibly realistic, the convention of applying pigment to a surface to tell stories, share ideas, or document daily life serves as one of our earliest examples of the spark of human creativity. People were painting in caves over 30,000 years ago using dirt, ash, and animal fat. From ancient Egypt to the Renaissance, artists painted on walls, wood, and canvas to tell spiritual stories and political ones as well. By the 1800s, painters started breaking the rules, capturing light, movement, and emotion. And today, there's no shortage of experimentation in how these paintings come to life. But three major categories for the discipline are paintings rendered in oil, acrylic, and watercolor. Fanta, good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this conversation about the pieces of your work that are in the current exhibition, A Visual Symphony. You are a multi-hyphenate artist, Fanta Celah, but also known as FC Akuwa, if I'm getting that pronunciation correctly. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Please, if there's anything you want the audience to know about you before we get started, please introduce yourself.
Sure, definitely. It's such a pleasure to be here and to be a part of the beautiful gallery over there in Little Rock, Arkansas. Um, yeah, I knew I was an artist my entire life, and so I was able to expound in music and the arts. And then when I moved to Chicago, then I expanded even more into crystal jewelry design, henna tattoos, Reiki energy healing. And so actually, I'm also a medicine woman as well. I have my own herbal line called At Bay Virgin Island Teas. I'm a Aboriginal activist on the front line fighting for justice for the American Aboriginal people of the Western Hemisphere. And yeah, but I'm still will always be an artist, and my art has always been a form of healing for me to inspire people and to yeah just elevate the consciousness of the world and humanity. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
That's such a wonderful jumping off point. So, to piggyback on some of the many creative disciplines you've described, from jewelry making to henna and even vocally, how do these different art forms speak to each other in your life and your work?
Oh, okay. So we have to start with art once again. So, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by the earth. I'm inspired by people, what have you. And so then I'm actually painting those things. Okay. The jewelry actually inspires me to infuse more three-dimensional work into my paintings, as well as incorporate. I mean, sometimes I even put crystals in my work, as well as different metals. So that inspires it. I've actually painted my henna tattoo designs, as well. And yeah, with the music, the artists that inspire me, I end up, painting them on canvas. And yeah, they all kind of feed into each other, even as you're at an exhibition or when I'm performing on stage, you got to look extra fly. So that I'm designing my own jewelry as well in the most creative, ancient futuristic way possible. So, and I'm just trying to be myself. Someone as unique as me, I can't just go to a store and buy something. Like it's impossible. So I have the ability basically just to create whatever I want at any given moment and just create my reality.
Absolutely love the kind of global rhythm and spiritual renaissance that you're describing in your practice. You mentioned a little bit a few moments ago that you think about healing, that you are a medicine woman, and that you think about art as a tool for healing. Can you share a little bit about how that intention shapes your creative process?
Sure, definitely. So basically, so I span from abstract, 3D abstract, seascapes, landscapes, as well as, painting people, what have you. Um, so let's say if I was painting a sunset reflecting over the water or something, first of all, I would be enraptured even by viewing it and painting it. So I'm already vibrating on a very high level. I'm transforming that into the brushstrokes, and then also, exhilarating paint. Colors of paint are also added in just to add extra energy to the work. So it's me giving my energy and also painting something that has amazing energy, that's vibrating, very vividly. So it's, the healing comes from all different angles. And basically I would just have to say that, emotion and your health and your body are completely connected. And so being, a peaceful state of mind and trying to be as positive as possible, your world will definitely transform in a very magical way. And so, having beautiful paintings in your home, that's a great way to start your day because then you get inspired, you get exhilarated, without even leaving your home. So, it's an added asset.
Wonderful. I kind of thinking about home spaces and location. Your work has traveled with you from Chicago to London, I believe Senegal to Ethiopia. How have those global experiences and the places or the sites of your exhibition, how have those things influenced your evolution as an artist?
Yes, well, first of all, I always really enjoy traveling with my art materials just so that I can capture the moment. So it was over by Lake Tana in Ethiopia painting, or even out my window, when I was in Addis Ababa. And so at that point, I was using um, like a different color scheme. Like I wasn't painting exactly what I was seeing. It was more, surreal. But yeah, just getting inspired like Akshardham in India, or I painted the Burj Khalifa. I was at the pyramids during sunset, but yeah, it definitely inspired me specifically to also the reaction of the audience. So when you're in a global scene, for instance, in London. As I'm me as a creative, I'm a living work of art. So they're getting inspired by me, getting inspired by my work. And it's just so exhilarating and it's just so inspiring for you to keep moving forward and keep pushing the bar to the next level. I've gotten like so much media attention when I was traveling and in some spaces, even Senegal, I actually had sold all the work that I had traveled with, and then I was even painting commissions there. So it's a whole different scope that really just opens your mind to the possibilities. You can't just pigeonhole yourself in your corner of the world. And yeah, but just once you excite all these people, it's just like, wow, I guess I'm special. Coming from a place like Chicago, everybody's an artist. Sometimes you just gotta leave home just to get the inspiration and the zeal that you need, to move forward. I was always surprised too. I hadn't really seen anybody else travel as much as me, but I just knew that I just had to put my mark on the world. Yeah. So, and just, yeah, constantly push the bar when it comes to art.
Yeah, I think hearing you speak about your experiences, you are indeed very much making your mark on the world and in such a global fashion is absolutely wonderful. You have shared works of Afrofuturistic mermaids and Josephine Baker during some of these exhibitions that you've participated in. And with such a wonderful range, I was curious about what draws you to a particular figure or theme and how that reflects your broader artistic mission.
Sure, definitely. So when it comes to the mermaid, I feel like it's like an epitome of beauty, and the aura has reminiscences, in the ancient world and artifacts, across the globe, ancient spiritual systems, what have you, but I just saw the opportunity, specifically once again in London. So the theme of that exhibition was forbidden fruit. And so it was actually only nude art. Some of it was very sexually explicit, what have you. So I took the more, modest approach, something just, very beautiful, very tasteful, Um, but yeah, I took the opportunity because I'm a big fan of mermaids myself. But I took the opportunity just to create just a very ancient, tribal, powerful image of us highlighting like the natural hairstyles. I'd even incorporate some of my jewelry and henna art within, those mermaid pieces that I had debuted in London. And yeah, Josephine Baker, just such an inspiration to me. She was actually one of the first, American Aborigine global superstars, and, it was very important to really honor these people who really how do you say, fought against the color lines, because it's such a racist society from the very beginning. And so she really opened so many doors for all of us. And so I just want their stories to live on, you know. And yeah, that was a beautiful painting. You saw that one? Yeah, she was wearing the bananas, but she was doing this very ancient dance pose in the painting that I did. So you have to see it.
Well, kind of moving from Josephine Baker and like thinking about this exhibition that explores the intersection of music and visual art, you being a musician yourself or a vocalist yourself, how does sound influence your painting process?
Definitely. So, okay. So I'm always painting. I'm sorry. I'm always listening to music whenever I'm painting. And so let's say I'm painting, a singer or a musician. I'm definitely listening to their music, singing their music, listening to the videos, just catching their vibe so I can actually put their essence within the painting. And yeah, but I always just want to inspire, like I said, so I'm choosing the subject matter that's very positive, you know what I'm saying? And then also, might spark their interest. Maybe nobody's heard of Ella Fitzgerald, but she was really one of the greatest jazz vocalists of all time. Um, but yes, definitely I feel like yeah, abstract art, 3D art is definitely very loud, very vocal, very musical, very lyrical, you know. And yeah, so
Okay, and when I think of abstract art, I think like without maybe specific things to hold on to, my mind immediately goes to the kinds of colors and the palette that's utilized. And yours is one that is incredibly distinct and light and bright, and it involves metallics. I was really curious about how you approach color and the kind of language that you feel you're able to communicate specifically through color, and what kind of emotions you're looking to elicit or elevate through your work.
sure, definitely. So going back to being a medicine woman, so I was actually doing a Reiki healing for over 20 years. And also, not only am I a crystal jewelry designer, but there's actually crystal healing involved in that. And also, color itself has vibration to it as well. And so, yeah, so once you have vibrant colors in your atmosphere, it's affecting you subconsciously. So let's say, orange is creativity, or yellow will spark more peace of mind, joy, energy, so each painting, yeah, I definitely didn't really want to do monotone colors, even though I do that at times, more muted colors at times. But I'm here to excite, I'm here to get you off your feet and into motion, or at least inspire you to be creative yourself, because we all have divine capabilities. So we should definitely find our niche and do something that really gives us passion and fulfillment, you know. But yeah, those vibrant colors, they light up your chakras and they balance and heal your entire body. So that's why I use them.
Beautiful. You and your work have been recognized by a range of institutions, like the African American Arts Alliance, and you have work in permanent collections in several different African cultural centers. How do you view your role as a cultural bridge or ambassador, considering this global relationship that you've built around your practice?
Well, it's definitely an honor being a American Aborigine, traveling the globe. I so I have two permanent pieces. Actually, they're both in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, which is interesting. So one was at the African Union. I did a painting of the children of the world. It was basically called The Ones. And so my mission in that painting was to bring about global peace, and within that painting, they were the starlight of the Pleiades was shining, which is very magical. It also highlights unity. But um, but yeah, being an ambassador, being able to just share my positive messages with the world is very important to me. And yeah, just the cultural exchange itself could just be life changing. And it's interesting. So I feel like I and my art are one. So I've noticed that I've actually inspired the world of fashion. So I don't know if it was when I was traveling or after I was traveling. But for instance, like this hairstyle here, have you seen that on your side of the planet?
I have. I very much have.
Exactly. So I'm the creator of this. So
Okay.
these are cosmic bangs. Okay, so I was wearing this style called the cosmic crown for 14 years. But what I decided to do during the pandemic was, so I was doing coils at the bottom of each of my locks, and then these were the bangs, and so, and even at the time I was traveling with a lot of fashion designers from Nigeria and the continent, and I was selling my jewelry, what have you. So I don't know at what point they just took a hold of my hairstyle, but I'm just like, that's amazing because so I'm American Aborigine. You all are Aboriginal to Africa, but we still have a common thread and a line. Hopefully, as we celebrate each other's beauty, we can find unity in that. Even the cowrie shell, in ancient times was used in the Caribbean as well. So,
Mhm.
so it's important to honor each other's culture, and just know, yeah. Fanta Celah created that. Remember? Oh my God. Like I even saw Fatumata wear the hairstyle and Sister Derby from Ghana. I don't know if you know her, but I actually know her. But it's actually just it's exciting, but it's also like I wish they'd give me a little bit of credit. But I'm glad. So when I created these hairstyles, it was really to help people with locks because locks are very heavy. And so people
Mhm.
with locks, a lot of times they have like they start to lose their hair, and so it was a very protective style. And then, but it was also a way to highlight your natural beauty and natural hairstyles. So it was very important. And so now I see that around the globe. So they're using the braids that you add on, which is totally fine, you know. But it was yeah, the goal was to inspire natural hair. So it's like grow your own hair, be you, love who you are, love your complexion. You know what I'm saying? Just be you. So I was just expressing myself in my most unique form, and then I actually kind of changed the world. And we all have that capability. But yeah, so it's called Cosmic Spirals. If anyone asks you.
Wonderful to know that we are very much in the presence of an originator, and on record, we can say cite your sources when we get to see this hairstyle in different parts of the world. It's also really wonderful to hear about this painting that you did of little ones. And I wonder if you can reflect back to a time when you were younger, if there was a particular person or experience that really like seeded the idea of pursuing a life as an artist for you, and what that looked like for you, like how you arrived at the decision or what your early exposure to the arts was.
It's so interesting. So I know my father was an artist, so I was basically he passed it on through blood. Like I never remember us drawing together, but I know from the age of 5, I had artistic talent, and so I had just always known I was going to be an artist. I really didn't have in a so-called artist that I idolized at all. And then I had the great opportunity of being able to have access to the most like top level, art classes, at a very young age. And so like around 15 or so, started winning awards. I was in the newspaper, whatever. And so I just kept on the path. In Chicago, I was 2021, the youngest artist on the scene, showing in galleries. And then it's so great for me to then be able to pass on my gifts to my offspring. So now my youth, they all have amazing talent. And then my daughter in particular is very serious about it. She is an interdisciplinary artist. She has her own band. She does what is it? 3D collage, just very thought-provoking art, crystal jewelry design, all of that. So it's very important, yeah, for children to have access to art. I think for me, I was just doodling. I just had me and my sisters, we were doing skits and just drawing. I think it was just always in me, just to be an artist. But yeah, I was so happy to be able to actually expose my children to it so that they could, pass on that gift. And one more thing. So it was so great. I was actually exhibiting in Texas a few years ago, and I had my abstract collection on exhibition. And just out the blue, I had my tools with me, so I just set up a table, and the youth had come, and I created some artists that day. They had never painted before in their lives. but they actually had come up with some really amazing things. And it's important to just pour that inspiration and love into people so that they can nurture their true talent.
Absolutely. I can't think of a better way to kind of honor the legacy that you're describing of what was passed down onto you by passing it on to others as well. So that's really wonderful. When you speak about painting a sunrise, as you did a little bit earlier, and someone enjoying that kind of in their lived space and what that can do vibrationally for them, there's a generosity and a lot of intimacy in that idea. How do you hope people feel when they're getting to live with your work?
Well, I want them to feel as if they are in nature at that moment so that they can experience, the illumination of the sun, you know, activating their third eye or the moonlight, the stars, because it's very serene, very peaceful, and just transformative. So I just want them to be in their center, their heart center, and just be true to themselves. I really want to inspire that in them because, yeah, the same emotions that you feel if you're just standing by the lake, you can actually get the same thing from a painting. And so, yeah, it's just such a great honor to be able to share those type of serene images with the world. Yeah.
Absolutely. A symphony is many different sounds or voices coming together. And this exhibition, in my experience of it, seems to do that wonderfully as well. And it's so special to be able to have your visual voice and your energy in the gallery in conversation with these other artists that are using materials differently as well. I think, like, maybe just as we get towards the end, what is one thing that you hope someone that is getting to interact with your work for the first time takes away from it?
Basically, yeah, just experiencing just a unique form of art that they've never witnessed before. How I create the tapestry of a person's whole life on the canvas through collage, and unite it with portraiture. And then Ella Fitzgerald, how there's actually peels and seeds, it's like a three-dimensional element to it. Yeah, just wanting them to just know that the creative process is infinite, you know, and yeah, hopefully, they'll remember it for all time. They'll take it home or it'll inspire them, to just carry the message on to someone else that, you can create your own reality. You can create anything you set your mind to, you know, endless possibilities.
Wonderful. I guess like one kind of other thought as you're mentioning these different artists, is if you could select, I guess, a score or music that would accompany the pieces that you have in the exhibition, what kind of songs or what sonically comes to mind for you?
Well, that was easy because I mean they are artists, but if you definitely want to listen to Midnight Sun
Mm.
or Girl from Ipanema from Ella Fitzgerald, oh my God, and then The World Is Yours from Nas, you have to listen to them, and you'll be right there with him.
Thank you so, so much for your time this afternoon. I hope that you are having a wonderful start to the new month. And if there's any thoughts, please feel free to share them if there's anything you feel we haven't gotten to speak about.
I definitely wanted to invite everyone to visit me on social media under Fanta Celah, FANTACELAH, on Instagram, TikTok, etc. Let me see, Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere, as well as YouTube. And then you can actually hear some of my music as well. It was such a pleasure interacting with you all. I look forward to seeing the rest of the exhibition. And like I said, it's an honor to be a part of it. And yeah, maybe I'll meet you one day.
It would be an absolute pleasure if I had the opportunity.